Hey, good morning. What we have here is a JVL Retro bar top video game. Very cool. And this game has got an issue where it's not booting up. We basically get a beep coming through the speaker, a loud beep. It's like the BIOS is not loading or it's not booting up. And if I'll demonstrate that by turning it on. Turn the switch on. There's the beep, and you get a no signal on the monitor. We're going to try to fix that. All right, so first things first, we're going to unplug this thing for safety. And we're going to remove the back panel. Expose the back side of it. Let's see here. Right here is the processor. We need to pull that out and look at the, check the CMOS battery. It's a 2032 battery. More than likely that could be the culprit. Measure the voltage, reseat it, and see if it'll boot up after that. This is kind of a typical problem with 86 processors. All right, I think first things first, we're going to remove the coin box. There's 75 cents in there floating around. To get access to the processor, we have to do a couple things. We're going to have to open the front display. It'll come out here. You got to be real careful to let the display catch. Don't let it slam. But we'll carefully open that. And to do that, there is a little mechanical lever in here, up here by the I/O board. You see that little lever right here? Just kind of push up on that while you're got your hand on the display to catch it and gently lower the display. Okay, after I've unlatched it, I'm going to lower the display carefully, as you can see, carefully. It's got a little thing holding it here. Gives you a lot of room to disconnect the cables, which is going to be the next thing. We're going to disconnect the I/O board cable. One cable goes up to here, and this one is the VGA cable that goes to the display. You can carefully remove these and tuck them away to the side. This right here is a display controller. You really don't have to do anything with that, but just remove it and set it to the side. You won't really need to do anything. So it's held on by a piece of Velcro here, and I'll carefully remove that and put it off to the side. So this box is going to come out. As you can see from behind, I've got room in the front to work with it on both sides here. So next I'll go ahead and remove this. Okay, where the display is folded down, as you can see, there's the back side of the processor where all these cable connectors. I recommend you taking a photo of where these cables plug into, and I'm going to go ahead and disconnect some of these. These are the lights. Carefully remove that. This down here is that loud speaker. I'm going to carefully remove that, set it to the side. This lower is a power connector. That's for the front keyboard that we see down here. That's the PC board for that, the power for the PC board for that. Just kind of move them to the side. And this is a power connector to the I/O board we saw in the previous video. Just unplug that. Just note where these all plug back into. So, and we'll unplug this connector as well. Our connectors are unplugged and moved away, and of course you were a good person and documented this with a photograph so you can get it back to normal. All right, so everything's disconnected cable wise. Let's undo this screw here, and this processor should carefully slide out. when it slides out, it slides back in. It's holding down like a grooved tab here. And it should just slide out and then comes out. I'm going to carefully slide it up and out. Should come right out. Be gentle. And there's the motherboard. You can leave the power connector connected. And that's the CMOS battery. CMOS battery maintains the BIOS. If the BIOS is corrupt or something, or the battery is dead here, I'm going to remove it and replace it with a 2030. It's a 2032. Note the polarity of the battery. It's one of those wafer batteries. And it should be 3 volts DC if you want to measure it. Guys, safety is in the ultimate. It is very important to be safe. You should be wearing rubber gloves, I would recommend. Go ahead and make sure you power it off and disconnect for safety, okay? Let's get this thing back in. Gentle to get this in. Now, this is real tricky. There is a groove at the bottom of this, and you're trying to find the slot. It's really tough for me to get this seated in the groove, put it in the groove, and slide it down. I'm gonna have to use both hands and stop video for a second. Get this carefully, be real careful. Okay, as you can see, it took 2 hands to get this thing back in. Be extremely careful. Don't force anything. This should slide right in, and it's a very tight tolerance here. So just take your time, okay? And let's get this thing back together. There it is. You know, make sure nothing is binding. The cables are free, even the cables in the back. Make sure nothing is pinched or binding over here. We'll get all that plugged back in just a second. Careful, don't torque it. Just gentle. This doesn't need any torque. Okay, we're going to carefully plug the connectors back in. Same with the connectors on the back side of the processor. There's the lights. Camera action. Let's see. You guys took a picture of all this, so I'm assuming you get everything plugged back in the right. I think you can't mess up. These connectors are unique. It's a good thing. Get the sound, the annoying loud sound, beep. So one last final check. Make sure everything is seated properly and cleanly. Nothing binding. Make sure all the connectors nothing's binding. Carefully close the lid here. Make sure it snaps good. Yeah, it took 2 hands carefully, so I snapped it in. Make sure it's, you don't want, if you don't latch it and you carry this thing and this thing flies out and crashes onto the floor, shame on you. Make sure it latches and it clicks. All right, let's see. Make sure I screw all these down tight or gently. It's booting up, as you can see on the screen. No loud beeps. Ta-da! Clean it up. Put the cover back on. Put it back in service. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. This is Chris. Enjoy. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Oh, yeah.